7A. It's Jasmine.
February 7th, 2022. For viewers watching at home, commissioners and members of the public are participating via video conference and teleconference. If you are able, I invite you to please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Buss?
Present.
Commissioner Lanson?
Virtually present.
Commissioner Link?
Also virtually present.
Commissioner McMahon?
Also virtually present.
And Chair Newman.
Virtually present. Tonight we have with us Planning Division Manager Steve Kearns. Mr. Kearns, are there any written comments, announcements, or continuances at this time?
Thank you, Chair Newman. We do not have any for you this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Kearns. And now we move to public comment. At this time, any person may address the commission regarding a city planning matter that is not on tonight's agenda. Should the commission wish to discuss an issue raised by a member of the public, the issue will be referred to staff for scheduling on a future agenda. Anyone who would like to speak under public comments must click Request to Speak on the agenda to receive instructions before the public comments portion of the agenda is called. The speaker's remarks should be addressed to the commission as a whole and not to an individual commissioner or member of staff. Unless otherwise provided by the commission, speakers are limited to 5 minutes. The screen will show you the remaining time you have. Are there any public speakers this evening?
No public speakers.
Thank you. Not hearing any, we will move on to the consent calendar. For tonight, we have the minutes of our January 10th, 2022 meetings. Are there any comments, or do my fellow commissioners have a motion to approve or otherwise?
We have a minor change to the minutes.
Yes, please.
On page 3, we need to add a verb under commission comments, paragraph 1. So the sentence beginning will read, Chair Newman commented that the Timber School project developer, and then the remainder of the sentence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Something too. Just above that, the total vote was 4-1, and it's shown as 3-2. Just above that on page 3.
Thank you. I missed that. Commissioners, any other comments?
I'll move to approve as amended.
Commissioner Link has a motion to approve. Any comments, discussions? Not hearing any, I'll ask the secretary to prepare us for a vote.
Commissioner Buss? Commissioner Buss?
That was an aye. Can you hear me or no?
Commissioner Lanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Link?
Yes.
Commissioner McMahon?
Yes.
Chair Newman?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, thanks very much. We will now move on to our 2 public hearings for this evening. Will the clerk please open the public hearing, item 7A?
Hearing having been advertised as required by law is hereby open to consider Agenda Item 7A, Special Use Permit SUP 2021-71168, to approve a special use permit to allow a new indoor dog kennel and training facility, including an outdoor play area within an existing industrial building located at 975 Business Center Circle. The applicant is the Doggy Den Incorporated.
Thank you. Presenting on behalf of staff is Assistant Planner Tabitha McAtee. Good evening, Ms. McAtee.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Newman, members of the Planning Commission. Let me share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. The project before you tonight is a request to allow a new indoor, oops, 1 second. Sorry, it's not letting me get to the next screen. Okay, there we go. So the project before you tonight is a request to allow a new indoor dog kennel and training facility, including an outdoor play area within an existing industrial building. The building is bound by an industrial building to the north, Grande Vista Drive and the 101 freeway to the south, and an existing self-storage building to the east. And the Grande Vista Business Park is to the west. The surrounding developed properties are all zoned M1 industrial, and the proposed facility is located within the Thousand Oaks Business Center, also seen here on the aerial map. This shows the subject building towards the center of your screen and the surrounding buildings. The nearest residence is located approximately 720 feet from the subject building across the 101 freeway. Also, the Lowe's shopping center is located on the right of your screen, east of the business center circle. The project site is located on a 1.21 acre property. This proposed dog kennel and training facility will occupy an existing single tenant industrial building, which is 10,435 square feet. The business center currently has 7 existing industrial buildings, all located on Business Center Circle. Here is the subject building looking from the south and southwest. You can see the building which faces Grande Vista Drive and the 101 freeway. Here is the west and northeast view of the subject building. This shows the rear of the building on the left and the parking lot and facility entrance on the right. And here is the view from the freeway. You can see the building is a 1-story existing building and has landscaping covering the south side of the building. And here is the site plan of the existing building. This shaded red area shows the 10,435 square feet of the building, of the tenant space. And the blue shaded area indicates where the proposed outdoor play area will be located, and that is to the south of the building. There will be a 7-foot high fence that will enclose the area completely. And some parking requirements. There are a total of 40 parking spaces existing on the site, and they are only required 36 due to their square footage and incidental office uses within the building. And here is the facility floor plan. There is no plan, as far as I know, to do any internal tenant improvements. So this is existing. And the main training and kennel and socialization areas for the dogs will occupy approximately 85% of this floor plan. The remaining 15% is the incidental office uses that I mentioned. And some general operations, the hours of operation will be 7 to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. That is only for the clients. This will be a 24/7 facility because of the overnight boarding of dogs. But clients and the public are only able to come use this building from 7 to 7 every day of the week. The largest shift will have 4 employees, and there will be 1 employee at all times, especially during the night shifts. And the facility will have a maximum of 80 dog kennels, all which will be located indoors, and all dogs will sleep and eat indoors as well. Some of the details for the training sessions. There will be hour-long private dog training sessions with the owner, and that'll be conducted up to 5 times a day on appointment basis only. No walk-ins are available. No more than 1 group obedience class per week. And there will be 1 staff member per every 10 dogs in the play areas when they are in the same space and not in their dog kennel. And some of the noise, odor, and waste conditions that we have covered. The facility will be well insulated and soundproofing measures will be utilized for the indoor noise. Barking dogs, if they're in the outdoor area, will be removed and brought back inside to their kennel. All waste will be collected immediately and placed in a trash bag and disposed of in the designated trash receptacles. And all surfaces will be sanitized twice a day using the pet safe and environmentally safe sanitation products. And that should eliminate the odors and the bacteria. And for the outdoor play area, the fenced-in area is not open for public use, and it will not have a public entrance. It is to be used by staff only. Any potential clients that want to bring their dog to this facility will be required to sign up with the facility beforehand and making appointments, and they would not be able to access the side gate. The installation of landscaping will conceal the fence, and that should screen any public view. Required landscaping will consist of an assortment of plants currently used on site for the existing site, and there is an existing landscape plan for this particular building. And the applicant will be required to submit a landscape plan for the Community Development Department to review and approve. Here is an outdoor play area photo simulation. The applicant put this together to show what the fence may look like. There is not a final fence to approve at this time. We will work with the applicant and review and approve the fence that they propose in the future. In the Thousand Oaks Municipal Code, section 9-4.2105, in the permitted non-residential use matrix, any request for dog kennels and animal care uses within the industrial park zones, or M1, to be considered by the Planning Commission. And for environmental review with the California Environmental Quality Act, this project is a Class 1 exemption of Section 15301 for existing facilities. No expansion of the existing structure is proposed. And the project entails a request to allow a new indoor dog kennel and training facility, including an outdoor play area within an existing industrial building. Also, the location is within an industrial area, which is zoned for such use where all necessary public services and facilities are available. Staff concludes that the request will not have a detrimental impact to the surrounding industrial area, given the applicant's operations plan that they had submitted and the recommended conditions of approval from staff. The use is consistent with the general plan, municipal code, and underlying development permits. And also the nearest residence is 720 feet away across from the 101 freeway. And the use should not generate noise, parking, or traffic issues. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve this project based on the findings and subject to the conditions of approval.
Very good. Thank you for your presentation. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments for staff? Don't all raise your hands at once. Commissioner Lanson.
Thank you, Chair Butts. I just had a few, I'm sorry, Chair Newman, my bad. Ms. McAtee, thank you for the report. I just had a few quick questions. Does this SUP run with the land or is it specific to only this operator?
It does run with the land. If there was a future tenant that wanted to do the same thing, they would just have to follow all the conditions of approval.
And do we know if this operator are they a tenant or they own the building?
They're a tenant.
Okay. And again, I'm going to ask an obvious question, but I was asked this by somebody. Only dogs are allowed in the kennel, right?
Yes.
And aside from the two communications I know that were received that were in favor of the application, were there any other communications received up until today?
There was one email from an adjacent tenant. I think it's a biotech company. He was not opposed to anything. He was just concerned about the outdoor area. And I explained to him that there will be a fence and that we were going to have landscaping concealing the fence so that it's not going to be an eyesore. Also barking dogs. There's going to be a plan to have them, as a part of the training that the applicant is, that's part of her business plan. She will make sure that the dogs are back inside if they continue to bark. And he was fine with that. And he actually gave me some fence material suggestions. So it wasn't a opposition.
Nice that he gave you some materials. And again, I apologize, Chair Newman, for that. No further questions.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Commissioner Lanson. Other commissioners, any questions of staff? I'm not seeing. Commissioner Buss.
Yeah, my only question is with the exterior fence, having owned dogs my entire life, I am familiar with their ability to dig under things. Is that fence, part of the design of the fence, going to be designed to contain them as far as digging? Are they going to basically trench around and run some kind of an underground containment system?
We have not received plans for the fence. We will be reviewing that with the applicant, but we will make sure that there is going to be some mitigation measures so that they are not digging. Plus, they will be having a staff member watching them at all times in the outdoor play areas.
Okay, so they're under 24-hour surveillance when they're outdoors. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Buss. Any other commissioner questions? Commissioner Link.
Thank you, Chair Newman, and thank you for the presentation, Ms. McAtee. Question regarding the activities. Was it suggested by the applicant that all activities would be confined inside the outdoor area, or was that condition essentially placed by the city?
Are you asking if they were the ones that wanted to do the outdoor fenced-in area?
I'm curious. So in other uses, maybe shelters and in other situations, they often walk dogs. And I'm just curious whether it was the city that had imposed the condition that all outdoor activities be restricted within the outdoor area, or whether the applicant had requested that activities be able to be conducted outside of the fencing.
That was a part of her draft operations and business plan.
Okay. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner McMahon, no questions?
No questions.
Very good. My only question is a general one. Does the city keep statistics on the dog population in our city?
I don't believe we do, but the applicant, Ann Anderson, is very well versed with anything dog related. She has a very long history working with dogs and training dogs. So I don't believe the city keeps that information. I'm assuming that would be the, the animal care department for the county.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there were some interesting statistics in her business plan, and I suppose we could extrapolate them to the city population, but the city itself does not keep stats on that. Is that an accurate statement?
I don't believe so.
Okay, great.
Chair Newman, if I may, just to be clear with everybody, we do use LA County for our animal care and control. And so they obviously license dogs and cats. And so we could take that information as far as the number of dogs that are licensed in the city. But as we all probably can understand, that doesn't necessarily make an accurate portrayal of how many dogs we actually have in the city. But we do have that information. I just don't know how, I don't know the percentage of individuals who license their dog or don't license their dog for the city of Thousand Oaks.
Okay. Okay, I'm just was wondering the scope of the need. We've been through endless surveys on humans for housing, and it's interesting that we're just now having just these two cases tonight on our dog population. I was just curious. That's all. It's not really. It's just a point of information and nothing further. Okay, so with commissioner questions for staff out of the way, we will now go to the applicant. The applicant and or representative, you have up to 15 minutes total to speak. And we ask that you state your name and city of residence for the record. And we will begin this evening, I believe, with Tom Cohen for the applicant. Good evening, Mr. Cohen.
Mr. Cohen, I am attempting to promote you to panelist. You just need to accept that so you can move in to this quote unquote room. Okay, here he comes. Hold tight.
I see Mr. Cohen and I see that he is muted. There we go. Mr. Cohen, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Good evening.
Very good. Good evening, Chair Newman and members of the Planning Commission. This is Tom Cohen. I'm a resident of Thousand Oaks. I'm here tonight representing Ann Anderson and the Doggy Den, Inc. Ann, the owner, is here tonight to answer any questions you may have concerning her business and the SUP application to open a dog training, boarding, and daycare services to Thousand Oaks residents at the subject property. Ann has an interesting background in training and caring for dogs utilized by law enforcement agencies. And she put a lot of time and effort into her business operations plan, which apparently has raised a couple questions. So that's good. It would be remiss if we didn't thank Tabitha, our case planner, for shepherding this application, providing us with great direction and advice along the way. So thank you, Tabitha. We have reviewed all the draft conditions of approval, and we agree to all conditions. As you know, the use is located in a light industrial area off of Grande Vista, adjacent to the US 101. It is self-contained, one occupant building, our own dedicated parking lot, and is generally distant from other businesses in the area. In consideration, in consideration of our neighbors, we understand and are sensitive to the need to address noise and odor impacts up front and have measures in place that will mitigate those impacts. Of course, we will be monitoring this on a daily basis to fine-tune operations if the need arises. I don't have anything further. I'm going to ask Ann if she would like to speak. Otherwise, This concludes my remarks and available to respond to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Ms. Anderson, do you have any comments?
Hello, thank you, commissioners, for having me. I'm a resident of Thousand Oaks, and I don't have any comments other than to thank everyone and to thank Ms. McAtee for all of the hard work that she's put into this. If you have any questions for me, I'm definitely available, and I'm
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments for the applicant? And there are no questions for the applicant, so we will move on to public comments. We have 2 public speakers this evening, meaning each speaker will have up to 5 minutes. And again, we will ask each speaker to state their name and city of residence for the record. Our first speaker will be Mark Yelzari, followed by Jasmine Robledo. Mark Yelzari, are you there? And I believe you're muted. If you could unmute, please. Mr. Yelzari, you are muted. Okay, Mr. Yelzari, we would like to hear from you, but you need to unmute so we can do so. Okay, are you there, Mr. Yelzari?
Hello,
Yes,
this is Jerry Yelzari.
yes, please go ahead. Please state your name and city of residence.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you had said Mark Yelzari, and that is my son. Yes, my name's Jerry Yelzari. My husband and I own a company that's just about 3 buildings up from the proposed doggy den. And I just wanted to say that we're very excited to have a facility like this on our street, as are many of our dog-owning employees. Not only is there a real need for this type of service in our area, but Ann Anderson is a pretty extraordinary person and dog trainer. And yes, Ann, I have to admit, I did my research on you. I did Google you, because after all, if I'm going to leave my fur baby in your hands, I need to feel very comfortable, and I do. She has quite the resume. She's a dog trainer extraordinaire with an incredible strength of character, intellect, kindness, and empathy that's very hard to find. Whether it's finding a missing Alzheimer's patient or solving crimes, she's always made herself available to help. So to say that we look forward to having you as a neighbor and working with you is an understatement. We are ecstatic. And that's all I have to say about Doggy Den.
Very good. Thanks very much for your comments, Ms. Yelzari. Commissioners, are there any comments or questions for the speaker? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to our second public speaker, Jasmine Robledo. Good evening, Ms. Robledo.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I am an employee at WV Communications. Jerry is the HR there, so we're right up the street. I am a dog parent. So I am here in support for the Doggy Den. It would be awesome to have a local doggy daycare and training facility for the employees in the industrial area, including myself. We do work a lot of late hours, so it would be nice to know that my dog is in good hands down the street. And she's a trained professional, so I'm sure she's fully capable of managing any and all responsibilities given her background. So it would be exciting to have the Doggy Den in our area. That's all.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Robledo, for your comments. Commissioners, are there any questions of this speaker? Not hearing any, we will go back to staff for any follow-up comments. Ms. McAtee, back to you.
No further comments. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll go back to the applicant one more time. If you have any follow-up comments, feel free to make them at this time.
I would just like to thank them for their kind comments. That was very nice. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, are there any final comments of staff? Commissioner Buss.
Yes, I did have one question. I did hear the public speaker mention that they sometimes work late hours. I know that you set the customer hours from 7 to 7. Is there a provision for late pickups for clients within the city allowed business plan, or would a dog be stuck there overnight if their dog parent couldn't pick it up by 7?
There is no provision to address late night pickups. The hours were set from the draft operations and business plan from 7 to 7, 7 days a week. If there was an adjustment in those hours, then we might need to do a modification to the resolution. But as far as I know, there is no other plan to have people picking up their dogs in the middle of the night.
I'll just throw that to the applicant too. Do you think that's going to be a concern for you in any way, shape, or form?
I don't think that.
Ms. Anderson.
Oh, yes. If they were going to be later than 7 o'clock at night, we would hope that they would give us a call, and perhaps we can make arrangements with them, either to keep the dog for them overnight or whatever their accommodations needed to be. But we would have to close at 7 for business.
Makes sense. Thank you so much. No further questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other questions of staff or the applicant? Okay, in that case, I will close the public hearing and open the floor for a motion or discussion. Commissioners. Commissioner Lanson.
Thank you, Chair Newman. I think during the last 2 years, everybody in my neighborhood has gotten at least one dog, if not more. And this is a valuable service that our community definitely needs. I think Ms. Anderson's business plan was very well detailed. It's in a good location. It's good people. It's a good process. I'm in favor of it, so I'm going to go ahead and make the motion to approve the special use permit to allow a new indoor dog kennel and training facility, including an outdoor play area within the existing industrial building, subject to the conditions in the staff report.
Very good. Commissioners, any comments? Commissioner Buss.
All right. I was late to being a parent to actual humans and considered my pets my children for the bulk of my adult life, and still do. So with that feeling and that sentiment, and knowing that I actually availed myself of Doggy Daycare for various periods of my life, I know that this is a very vital ingredient. And so I do support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Other commissioner comments? Okay, let's go ahead and ask the secretary to prepare us for a vote.
Commissioner Buss?
Aye.
Commissioner Lanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Link?
Yes.
Commissioner McMahon?
Aye.
Chair Newman?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. This is a motion, a vote that is subject to appeal. I need to read the text that says any aggrieved party who wishes to appeal the Planning Commission's decision may do so by filing an appeal with the Community Development Department within the next 10 days. And with that, we will move on to our next agenda item. Will the clerk please call item 7B?
Hearing having been advertised as required by law is hereby open to consider agenda item 7B, special use permit SUP 2021-71153, to approve a special use permit for the operation of a dog kennel facility at an industrial tenant space located at 742 Hampshire Road, Suite A. The applicant is Matan Dog Training.
Thank you. And presenting on behalf of staff this evening is Mr. Will Chua. Good evening, Mr. Chua.
Good evening, Chair Newman. Let me share my screen for a moment here. Oh my gosh. Technical difficulty. I'm looking for my other list. Sorry about that. What happened? Oh, there it is.
Excuse me, Will, it needs to be in slideshow before you share. Thank you.
There it is. Sorry. I apologize. For your consideration tonight is another application, Special Use Permit 2021-71153. This, the site is located at 742A Hampshire Road. The request is to operate a kennel dog facility or kennel or dog training facility in the M1 zone. The project site is located on the south side of the 101 freeway. It is located in an industrial complex that's bounded by Townsgate Road, Lakefield Road, and Hampshire Road. This is part of a development permit that was approved in 1977 for a 10-building development. The surrounding uses are all industrial uses and commercial uses around the project area, except for the residential area across the street from from Hampshire Road. The project site is located at the corner of one of the buildings. This is a view towards the residential area from the front of the property. As you can see, none of the residential buildings or homes are seen or can be seen from the project site. That means there's no direct line of sight. This is a picture taken at the front of the business. The project location has an industrial designation in the general plan, land use element, and as an M1 zoning. The proposed kennel is an allowed use in the M1 zone with an approval of a special use permit by the Planning Commission under certain findings. Under special use permit, the kennel has to be approved by the Planning Commission, and it requires that the Planning Commission makes all 5 findings applicable to the special use permit, which are as follows: that the project is consistent with the general plan, the project complies with all applicable laws, regulations, and policies, including the Thousand Oaks Municipal Code, and that the project would not be detrimental to public health, safety, or welfare, that it conforms with with CEQA, and compatible with the land uses in the vicinity. As far as the operation is concerned, the tenant space is leasing a little bit over 7,500 square foot of leased space out of that 22,000 square foot building on the front of the industrial complex. The dog training facility and the kennel facility will be taking up about 90% of that leased space, which is 6,700 square feet. The balance of that would be used for office, storage, and a restroom, which is about 838 square feet. The facility will employ 10 people, but they will only have 6 people on its largest shift. One night employee will be present as necessary for overnight dog boarding. There will be up to 22 dogs for overnight boarding, and there will be dog training with owners on appointment basis. As far as parking is concerned, the parking was calculated based on the industrial use on the property, since the municipal code does not have a specific requirement for kennel facility parking. based on that calculation, which is explained in the staff report, 18 parking spaces would be required, 14 for the dog training kennel and 4 for ancillary uses. There are 200 parking spaces that's required for the industrial complex, and the project was approved for 235 spaces, so there's 29 parking spaces surplus. As far as compatibility with surrounding uses, this building, since it's on the tenant space, since it's on the corner, has only one adjacent tenant, which is a fabrication business. The nearest residence is across Hampshire Road up the hill, about 850 feet. All dog activities will be conducted inside. The doors will be closed at all times to reduce noise, and immediate cleanup will be done to prevent odors from any excrement. This project qualifies for a categorical 1 exemption under CEQA, Section 15301, since it's for permitting and leasing of tenant space. The staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve SUP 2021-71153 based on the findings and subject to conditions in the attached resolution in the staff report. That concludes my my presentation, and staff is available to answer questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Chua. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments of staff? Commissioner Lanson.
Thank you, Chair Newman. I'll ask the same question, Mr. Chua, that I asked from Ms. McAtee. This is an SUP that runs with the land, correct?
Yes, it is.
And is there any tenant improvements that would be necessary?
According to the applicant, that they are using the same orientation on the floor, on the floor space.
Okay, and only dogs would be able to be housed at the kennel, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then lastly, you indicated in the staff report there was the property manager across the street had some concerns. Those were all verbal, correct?
Yes, it is. I had a conversation with the property manager, and when I explained to them the conditions that we're imposing, she was very satisfied with my answers. And also, just want to bring up that I had a call from a neighbor after the staff report was prepared, and this is a verbal communication, and he indicated to me that he's concerned about the dog noise, and I also explained to him that the dog noise, that all the dog activities would be inside the premises, and that the dogs and that the doors will be kept closed all the times, and that would probably most likely prevent any noise coming out of the property, and the same as the distance and the height difference of the properties.
And were they satisfied with that explanation?
Yes, sir.
And again, I didn't see anything in the report, but we've received no other written comments with regard to the application?
No, we have not.
That's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner McMahon.
Yes, we did not have a diagram or a floor plan or anything, and I'm wondering about the dog play area, or they're going to be inside the whole time and not outside during the day when they're there, and also the dog training will be inside also?
Yes, Commissioner. We have a condition that requires all the dog activities to be inside because there's no space for this facility to have an outdoor dog training area.
And that's okay with dog experts, that they're inside in this facility all day?
The applicant has agreed to this condition, so I'm assuming that they're okay with it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, other questions of staff? I've got just a couple. Does the condition about indoor operation only, is that 100% of the time, or would the applicant be permitted to take dogs for a walk, for example, off premises?
As long as it's not inside the premises of the property of the industrial complex, they could pretty much, technically, they could take the dog out to the park and have it, have him walk around the park, but that's fine with city, with staff.
Okay, very good. And then just on the going through the conditions, I noticed that the previous case we heard this evening, the fire department imposed 9 conditions in that case and just 2 in this case. And I'm presuming that's because well, they're both tenants, but since the other building is a freestanding building, there are requirements around Knox boxes and that sort of thing that don't apply here, where the property owner would be responsible for that. Does that explain the difference?
Yes, it is, and that the project is just a tenant improvement on an existing industrial complex. So, at the most, they're just putting up walls, if they will, on the site. So the fire department does not have any further conditions on this. And I've discussed this with the fire representative, and they said, yep, that's exactly what they wanted.
Okay, very good. I just wanted to double check. I didn't see it as a problem. I just wanted to understand the difference between them. I have no further questions of staff. Commissioners, anything else before we go to the applicant? Okay, very good. Then we will go to our applicant, and you have up to 15 minutes for your presentation. And we ask for the record that you state your name and your city of residence. Our speaker is Mr. Matan Shaibi. Mr. Shaibi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Hi, everyone. My name is Matan Shaibi, and I am located in West Hills. And I want to thank everyone for the opportunity. I don't have a lot to say. I'm very excited to be able to offer our service in the Thousand Oaks city, and to be able to help people live in harmony with their pets. And I'll be happy to answer any question if you guys have some.
Thank you, Mr. Shaibi, very much. Commissioners, are there any questions of our applicant? Commissioner Buss.
I only have one question. You are going to be capable of housing animals overnight, dogs overnight. I was just curious, with no outdoor area, if a dog stays for multiple days, what is your plan for accommodating them? Do you just plan on keeping them indoors the entire time they're there? Or do you have some kind of a plan to get them, I guess, fresh air, sunlight, or whatever?
Yes, so we are doing training, and part of our training is also taking dogs out and about to other areas. So we normally take dogs to train in parks and in public areas around in shopping centers. And so the dogs goes on a daily basis to train in a nearby environment, in different around parks, like I said, shopping center, Home Depots, and different environments on a daily basis.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. That'll be all my questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other questions of the applicant? Okay, not hearing any, we will go back to staff for any follow-up comments. Mr. Chua.
No follow-up comments from staff, Commissioner. Chair.
Okay, and we will then go back to our applicant one more time. Mr. Shaibi, do you have any additional comments on this case?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. And back to our commission. Are there any questions, comments before I close the public hearing? Commissioner Link.
And a question of staff. Hearing what we heard now and then with the previous applicant, how does the activities that the applicant just spoke about conform to condition number 4, which says all forms of dog training / activity shall be conducted indoor only without exception?
This condition applies to the site itself, because what we're trying to prevent here is that there will be dog walking all over the industrial complex, because it's not basically a secure location like the other one where they have a fenced area. So if the applicant decides to take the dog for a walk at the park, then that is something that we cannot control. This applies only to the project site, because we don't want the dogs to be interfering with any other businesses in that industrial complex.
So I think the issue that I have is that's not what that condition says. I mean, if I'm reading it by the letter, I mean, I understand the spirit, but if I'm reading it by the letter, it basically says that nothing can be conducted off-site, period, as long as it goes along with the special use permit.
Well, if it's to the pleasure of the commissioner, we can reword the condition to state that the dog training / activities shall not be allowed within the industrial complex. Outside, outdoors within the industrial complex. So
No, I'll open it to my fellow commissioners. I just don't want the applicant running afoul of anything if say their neighbors decide that they are not approving of any activities. Say he decides that he's going to take the dogs out for a walk around the block, and now the city's getting calls to code enforcement saying, hey, wait a minute, his conditions say he's not allowed to do anything off-site, period.
And that's why, we can revise the condition to state that the dog activities would be allowed outside of the industrial complex.
I think that would be wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, Commissioner, that's a very good point. And I think we can reword that condition so it provides some sort of latitude for them to take the dogs off-site to a park or something nearby. The idea behind the spirit of the condition, as you mentioned, was to keep them off the property itself, out the parking lots, and interfering with the day-to-day operations of nearby tenants. So we can refine that condition and make it more explicit to provide a little more freedom for them to do activities elsewhere nearby.
So not to put Mr. Heer on the spot, but is there a suggested rewording here?
Yes, Chair Newman. I was writing for number 4, dog training activities. All forms of dog training / activities shall be conducted indoors, except for one-on-one training by employee and dog will be permitted outdoors.
Okay, I'm not sure that addresses Commissioner Link's concern about, or the distinction that was made between outdoors being outdoors within the city at large or outdoors within the industrial park. And I think that if I heard Mr. Kearns correctly, he was saying the intent was to prohibit outdoor activities within the industrial park, but not to limit any other sort of outdoor activity, which I'm not even sure would be legal.
Yeah, I would suggest, and Mr. Heer, you can augment my comment if you feel appropriate, but if we could limit the outdoor activities to being off the property, and the outdoor activities off the property is permitted under the special use permit. And I think, as Mr. Newman's alluding to, we really don't have the ability to regulate what they do off the site. And what we're trying to do is make sure we keep them off the property and not interfere with the existing businesses. So if we keep them from having their operations on the property, that's the intent.
Okay, so going back to Commissioner Link, does that satisfy the concern that you're raising?
Yes, I think so.
Very good. And I see Mr. Heer is writing away furiously, so nothing like writing on deadline. So, Mr. Heer, whenever you're ready, once you have suggested alternative language.
Yeah, this is a little messy here. I apologize, but
No, not at all. Not at all. When you're ready,
So-
read it back and we'll run it by the applicant.
right. So let's try this one. All forms of dog training shall be conducted indoors or if one-on-one training is conducted outside by trainer, the trainer shall take the dog off the industrial campus for such training. Little wordy.
It may be, but it captures the spirit of anything outdoors being off premises, which is, I think, the distinction Commissioner Link was looking for. And with that language, we'll go back to the applicant, Mr. Shaibi. And
One question.
before we do, Commissioner McMahon.
I think we should ask the applicant if there's ever a time when it's not one trainer, one dog, and if that's limiting them too much, if they take 2 or 3 dogs off-site to train, is that?
That's a good point. I had the same image in my mind when Mr. Shaibi was referring to off-site, and without reference to kennels or training facilities, you frequently see people in town walking multiple dogs. So I think I think what you're asking is
Do we need to say, if they're training 1-to-1, it will be off-site? If we just say for any outdoor training, it would be off-site.
Chair Newman, if I might make a suggestion, perhaps to Mr. Heater. I'm no attorney, but I am the child of one. How about saying something to the effect of all forms of dog training activities to be conducted at the project address shall be conducted indoors only. All others must be conducted off-site.
I think that works too, if you guys understand that. I think that is capturing what you're trying to achieve here tonight.
And I think it addresses Commissioner McMahon's concern in that it does not impose a size limit.
Correct.
Okay, so with that language, as Commissioner Link just read, let's go back to Mr. Shaibi, our applicant, and ask if that modification is acceptable to him. Mr. Shaibi.
Yes, the last state was, in my opinion, was the less limiting and the one that fits right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Okay. So I'm not sure exactly what the language is. Mr. Link, Mr. Heher, are you guys synced up on?
Chair,
what?
Chair Newman, I think I was writing that same condition down. So if I may, can I read it off?
Please do. I want to be clear on what we're voting on.
So the condition would say all forms of dog training / activities within the subject property shall be conducted inside the building only. All others shall be conducted off-site.
Very good. And Mr. Heher, does that pass legal muster with you?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Buss and then Commissioner Lanson.
I think Mr. Chua didn't finish the statement. It should be outside the property or the industrial zone or something along those. Just outside doesn't define anything.
I thought he said off-site, but
off-site is what I heard.
Off-site, correct. Okay.
Yes.
I misheard him, and my interpreter isn't good either.
I'm clear on the meaning of off-site. I read that as saying off the industrial park property.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. I didn't hear the word off-site. I'm sorry. I'm hard of hearing.
No worries. Commissioner Lanson.
I heard outside as well, so Chair Buss and I are in the same boat, so I'm good.
Okay, maybe I sometimes hear things, so maybe I heard off-site.
I've got the subtitles on too. I'm reading.
Well, that's a whole separate source of hilarity, but okay, I think we're all in violent agreement here that anything that happens outdoors is off the premises.
Yes.
So, before I close the hearing, are there any further questions, comments of staff or the applicant? All right, very good. I am closing the public hearing, and I will now open the floor to a motion or further discussion. Commissioners. Commissioner Buzz.
I'll do it, but I got to toggle over. Hang on. I would like to go ahead and move that we adopt the resolution approving special use permit 2021-71153 based on the findings and subject to the conditions described therein as amended.
Very good. Commissioner comments? I'm not hearing any. Will the secretary please prepare us for a vote?
Commissioner Buss?
Aye.
Commissioner Lanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Link?
Aye.
Commissioner McMahon?
Aye.
Chair Newman?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Very good. I want to congratulate both applicants tonight, and I do need to read the appeal statement here. Any aggrieved party who wishes to appeal the Planning Commission's decision may do so by filing an appeal with the Community Development Department within the next 10 days. And again, my congratulations to both applicants tonight. It looks like we have no department reports tonight. Is that correct?
We do not have any department reports tonight.
Very good. Commissioner comments or AB 1234 reports? Commissioners? Commissioner Lanson.
Thank you, Chair Newman. Just a quick comment. I saw that the state of California may be lifting the indoor mask mandate soon, which may also follow along in Ventura County. My suggestion to everybody is it shifts the burden to those that have immunity issues and those that have other problems. It's now up to you to take caution, make sure that you're not putting yourself in a situation that's problematic. Again, everybody's going to want to get back outside and go on vacation and leave their dogs at the kennel. And that's great, but just make sure that you actually take care of you and don't put yourself in a situation that can still end up getting you sick, because we're still getting hundreds of reported viruses a day. So again, try to make sure you're as safe as possible going forward.
Thank you very much. And I want to strongly concur with Commissioner Lanson's statement. It's true that case rates are falling very fast. That's great news. Hospitalizations are falling fast, but the death rate is still rising. And even on cases, we are still far above the threshold of what constituted the old color-coded, the most severe purple level. We're still far above that level. So everything we can do to protect ourselves, our loved ones, one another, is all to the good to get this pandemic behind us as quickly as we can. So thank you for that comment, Commissioner Lanson. Very, very timely. Are there any other commissioner comments? Okay, Mr. Kearns, are there any follow-up items, announcements, or upcoming issues?
Yes, thank you, Chair Newman. We do have a Planning Commission meeting shaping up for March 14th. We have one item on there now. We'll see if we can move something else on there, but for now it's just the one. City Council will be considering the objective standards on February 22nd of that meeting. And that was, of course, before the Planning Commission last month. So that's all the updates I have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Kearns. Very good. Thank you all. This meeting is now adjourned to our next meeting on March 14th, 2022. Good night, Thousand Oaks.
Good night, everybody.